This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now Kyle is with Allen Featherstone from K-State discussing Kansas farm incomes now and in the future.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I have the opportunity to visit with Allen Featherstone. He's the head of Ag Economics at Kansas State University. Allen, I heard you do a presentation talking about farm income across the state of Kansas. For the most part, it was skewed toward grain production, so we're going to focus on that. Tell us how the income for farmers on grain production over the last few years has gone.
Yeah, it's been kind of a roller coaster ride there. In 2014, income was about $140,000 per farm. Then it dropped precipitously to about $15,000. And then over that, the last 2-3 years through 2018, it increased about $100,000. Probably one of the big changes has been just the proportion of government payments. If you look at those numbers in 2018, roughly 40% of income was farm program payments.
And was part of that because of the tariffs at that point, or where did those payments come from?
Certainly, payments have been running about $20,000 to $25,000 due to PLC and the ARC programs. But in 2018, with the MFP programs, there was roughly $37,000 per farm from that income that drastically increased the government program payments to Kansas farmers.
And those figures you talk about are net farm income.
Right. In terms of the $100,000 would be net farm income, and the payments from the government certainly are just one-for-one dollars.
Well, and that is why it has such an impact on net farm income, because every dollar that comes from government payments goes pretty much exactly to net farm income.
No, that is correct. There's just not much expense associated with government program payments. And if you look at those as a share of income, that number has been above 50% on a number of farms.
Kansas is a big state geography-wise, and certainly the climate varies across the state. Does some of that variation come from weather differences, or how is that factored in?
Certainly there are weather differences, and if you look at the distribution, in 2018 there were still roughly 20% of Kansas farmers that ended up having a negative net farm income. Certainly some of that is from weather variability. Certainly others are from just cropping patterns in terms of as you move from east to west, there's been less ability to grow soybeans, and as you move west, that becomes less and less. And if you look at the MFP payments last year, they were very much tied to soybean production, and so there were big regional differences with regards to just what the income was from those government trade payments.
And how do we stack up for 2019? I realize that's a little bit tough, but can you get some indication how 19 will stack up?
In terms of if we look at 19 using the most recent USDA data, there's expectation that yields for corn, for wheat, were above the 2018 levels or 2018 levels. If you look at soybeans and sorghum, they're a little less than the 2018 levels. But when you look at the acreage, the prices, and that, the expectation is roughly we will see about 8% more net gross farm income off those production. If you look at maybe 3-4% increase in expenses for variable costs, we're expected to see a little bit more from the market. And then if you look at the MFP program, that will likely be a little bit more generous than it was the last year. Some early estimates that we have in the department are that they could be on the order of $60,000 to $65,000 per farm. And so with that, we may see net farm income levels for the Kansas Farm Management Association, maybe around $125,000, $130,000.
Well, it's certainly reasons to be optimistic, even though there's much negative news that's out there. This is Kyle Bauer reporting with the head of the Ag Econ Department for Kansas State University, Allen Featherstone.
Thanks, Kyle. Come back after this break for this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update coming up next.